Hey everybody, it's Matt the Dice Chucker, and I'm joined by Jenn, the Board Game Librarian. Today we are taking a look at Guildmaster from Good Games Publishing. Thank you to Good Games Publishing for sending this to us for review. This is 2 to 4 players, and it's about an hour to 2 hours depending on your player count, and ages 14 plus, which doesn't really mean that it's 14 plus, it just means adult game, right?
Yeah, I think there's something about... There's like a whole thing with like how things are rated.
And designed by Chris Antony.
Yeah.
Antony, sorry. So in this game, you are running the guilds, and you're trying to get adventurers to go on quests, and you're building up your own guild base. And Jenn, what did you think about the game?
I liked it. And for those who don't know, this is Aslan. He's going to be our co-host in the game today. It's like an October late morning, and he wants cuddles. So he's going to tell us what he thinks about it, too. I liked it. We played this multiple times. I liked it.
Okay.
What did you have to think about it, Matt?
I found it very interesting. I liked you had to kind of program your parties behind the screen. And you can only have so many parties depending on how big your guild hall was. And then you flip, and then you might have competitions over locations. Though I will say there seem to be plenty of locations where you would rarely clash into people. Now, we only played this at 2. That is predominantly how we play games in this household. So perhaps that's a bit more tension in a 3 to 4 player game. But I thought it was interesting. I liked that the phases of the moon determined where you could go or how much things would cost in the game. I thought that was neat. Then you have your dice that you roll for quests and different abilities and or buildings that you might have allow you to mitigate those dice. And then you get points based off that. I mean, it is kind of a point salad in that you go here to get points, you go here to get points. So I thought that was neat.
I agree. I liked the phases of the moon as well, too, when things were cheaper or more expensive, and that certain characters, some of their abilities were kicked in.
And then you had the blood moons where some abilities... Was it blood moon? Let me check.
I think so, yeah. So you're upgrading a lot of your board as well as you're going along, where you can purchase things, and things can become more expensive the more adventurers and people you need to upgrade things, but it's definitely worth doing that.
Right. And here's where the review might take a bit of a turn.
Oh.
I like the game. It's a solid like 7.25 for me. But it's too long. There's too many rounds by 3. I think. That's just me. At 2 players, I think 6 rounds is fine. I know that's the short game, I believe. But when you play the full game at 9, I think it's 9, I found that to be kind of swishing the same stuff around again. Yeah, 9 for the...
Yeah, I agree. The first time we played, I think we played a short version of it, which was to the 6.
Yeah, we were low on time that day, but we wanted to make sure we got the play in.
Yeah, and then the next time we played the long version, and I think we were more used to gameplay, but it definitely was longer, and I agree. I'm not sure that by having those extra couple of rounds that it really did much of anything. I think we had more points at the end.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing. I never felt like there was more interaction with the other 3. So, I mean, my recommendation is if you get this game, definitely play it to the 6 rounds. And I know it has 9 on the round tracker, but I really felt like 6 rounds was enough. Because when we hit round 7, like I said, I'm just moving stuff around.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of variation in the cards that the characters that you're able to recruit. But sometimes some of the... Whoa, this is my good side, folks. That sometimes when in the adventures, sometimes it wasn't. And some of the big adventures seemed almost undoable sometimes. True. You really had to focus on certain colors and building those colors up. by recruiting characters. This is definitely a game where you can't do it all.
Right.
You do have to select certain things to do.
Yeah, pick a path. You could easily win by just focusing completely on upgrading your guild hall while doing a handful of quests here and there.
And if you take a look at the rulebook, Matt, so for our math fans...
Do we have math fans?
Our math fans and our probability fans out there, you will greatly appreciate the dice probability chart at the back.
All the dice are the same.
So for me,
we all D6.
We don't personally care about that in our house. But for some folks, that may be a really great selling point, and that they're looking for like the replayability and how this boils down. So I think a lot of attention and care was given to this.
True.
What's that other rule book in your hand?
This is the quick start rules.
Ah, yes.
And this is the rule book. Now, I appreciate quick start guides and learn to plays and then the actual rule book, but more of a rules reference. I felt that this really wasn't needed. The rule book was fairly comprehensive. Now, when you open this box and you take out the rule book is thick. And you might get kind of concerned that it's so thick. But, and it's the one thing I always complain about in bad rule books, everything had an example. Everything was clear. But some people are going to get turned off by the size of it.
It was on nice paper.
Yes.
And it is a large rule book, too. Yeah,
But I had no questions in the game.
No, that's good. That meant it was a pretty well done rule book, too.
Right.
So I'd like to talk and spend some time on the characters and the diversity of the characters, which to me is always important to talk about. Yeah, you see him almost knock it over.
Yep.
And I think that was a huge highlight of the game.
Okay.
That a lot of attention and care was given in presenting a wide variety of folks.
I touched his back.
Oh, no. So even from our cover here, we have a black female on the cover, and someone, I believe Tanya Poduba, I might be mispronouncing your name. Sorry, Tanya. Had done a study of games, and the number of African American or black folks who are on covers is ridiculously small. So I love this. Very dynamic artwork there. Even on the sides, we have kind of a merchant over here. We have maybe a shaman on the side too, and then
some warriors on the top.
Some warriors on the top as well, and
some assassins on the bottom.
Yeah, and assassins. But there is.
And that's funny because assassins are hidden, so you put them at the bottom of the box.
But there is a diverse person on every single aspect of this box. So really kudos to Good Games Publishing for actually talking the talk and walking the walk. I really appreciate that there. And a good balance of male and female characters as well, too. So that's important to me as a female gamer. What did you think of the artwork, Matt?
Dynamic. Very colorful. While also trying to keep that our guild is hidden in the shadows type feel. There's one component I would say is unnecessary, which is the ribbon. I think it looks great if you're going for table presence, but I can just easily look up to Jenn and say, okay, I'm all set.
Yeah, so when you're done doing your programming at the beginning of each round,
he's bored with us.
You put your ribbon to indicate that you're done. So in a 2-player game, yeah, I agree. Ribbons are great quality. I like the ribbons a lot. Probably more necessary in larger games.
So, just to kind of give you an idea, this is, your player shield, which, by the way, the back of the player shield is phenomenal.
Yeah, I agree, too.
Also, another just win for rulebooks. When you're done programming, I'm trying to do this really nice. You're supposed to do that. And it's like, it looks neat. It's unnecessary.
Yeah. Maybe it was a Kickstarter.
A stretch goal?
Stretch goal. So what I like too about this game, if it was Kickstarter, and I think it was, that there are not a lot of extra things. There's been some discussion on Twitter in the last couple of days about how in Kickstarter games in particular, for add-ons, designers often have to scramble and add new game mechanics or expansions or whatever. Solo mode.
Sometimes the game's not designed for solo mode, and we'll put it in as a stretch goal, so now they have to work and, like you said, scramble just to see if they can make it happen.
And it's basically like designing a whole nother game. So that's a ton of work for our designers out there. This didn't seem like it had that.
No.
So that's good.
What did you rate it?
I liked it, but it's not a keeper for us.
Why is that?
We talked about this when we played, and it's been a little while since we have played. We were away, Matt had surgery.
Which is why I'm snuffling so much, everybody. I'm sorry. We just needed to get some videos out. But, that's why. But
I feel like there's been more games that have guilds in them, and more games recently that we've played that have guilds, and
we've got a lot of games coming out now that deals with the preparing the adventurers.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
We did this. There's Bargain Quest. There's Heroes Welcome.
Yep.
And then there's Merchant's Cove.
Which
is the one we've kept.
Which is our shining star. We love it and we keep it. So we're comparing everything, perhaps unfairly, to Merchant's Cove, where there's guilds and things like that. I think folks will like this, though.
Yeah.
Just because it's not a keeper for us, and maybe if we didn't have some of those other games or played some of those other ones, this would be a keeper.
Yeah, definitely. I like how everything kind of clicks in the right way. It's just that, as you can see, there's not much more room in our space down here for more games. We're at that point of, I call it a nightclub collection, one in, one out. You know.
Yep.
Sometimes if you rearrange, you can get stuff to work, but I feel like we're the bouncers of our game collection.
Yeah, Matt will be
they're all waiting in line.
Oh, I rearranged so we could fit more games, and I'm like,
I rearranged because you played a game that you really like, and now I got to make it work.
Yeah. So, and again, if I have access to it at the library, we can always bring it home.
So it's going to reach a wider audience by heading to the library.
Yeah. So, again, thank you to Good Games Publishing for trusting us to do a review, and then more folks get to enjoy it.
I'm sorry you saw a cat butt most of the time.
Oh, it was a cat-like loaf of sorts. So, anything else you'd like to add, Matt?
I think we've covered most of it. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments about the game, and I will try my best to get to you and answer anything you might have.
All right, folks, that's all for today. If you liked this video, tell your friends about us. The cats are really the stars, not us.
Do the things.
Do the things.
You know the things.
We'll catch you next time.
Bye, everybody.